Renzo, this race, the difference right now, less than 1,500 votes in favor of April McClain Delaney. Let's check out the party, because these attendees are glued to the results that keep coming in, and it has been tight all night. Of course, these folks hoping David Trone wins this primary and potentially wins his congressional seat in the 6th district that he held for 3 terms before running for Senate in 2024. A major storyline we've been talking about all night is the money spent by these David Trone, April McClain Delaney on their campaigns. A combined $32 million coming out of each candidate's pocket. 25 million, just under 25 million of those dollars coming from David Trone, self-funded in his bid to regain this congressional seat in the 6th district. The former 3-term congressman is going to try to get the votes. Deep blue suburban Montgomery County, Democrat leading Frederick County. Also got to win the more conservative rural western panhandle of the state. Trone and his opponent McClain Delaney, they've run several attack ads against each other, and both candidates says, well, the other one started the negative push. Trone's campaigns claimed McClain Delaney voted with Trump and MAGA Republicans 22% of the time, but McClain Delaney disputes it, says she has the backing of Maryland's top Democratic leaders because of her work on issues Democrats care about. For Trone, he says the biggest issue tonight is who voters trust to take that fight back to Washington.
At stake is really fighting back against Donald Trump. I mean, we can't have a member of Congress that doesn't push back 100% of the time against Trump's initiatives that make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
In an interview with McClain Delaney earlier this week with WUSA 9, she said was pushed back on that, saying she's got support for Governor Wes Moore and Maryland's Democratic congressional delegation. She says support shows she's the candidate that's focused on lowering costs, protecting rights, and fighting the Trump agenda, which even David Trone says is really what he believes is at stake in this primary election. Guys.
Well, we've been watching the numbers come in, John, and it looks like April McClain Delaney is starting to grow that distance between the two of them at this point. So we're going to keep watching this for sure.
Yeah, with 72% of the votes counted so far. Let's get to our Katie Lusso now. She is with the McClain Delaney team at her campaign event at the Holiday Inn in Gaithersburg. Katie.
Yeah, and there is a crowd in here now. Let me tell you, this room is standing. Everyone is standing up. They just got asked to come in. People heard is the word that they used, and they are getting ready for April McClain Delaney to enter the room. You know, just in the last 20 minutes or so, we heard from her husband, John Delaney, who, as you know, he served in this position from 2013 to 2019. So he thanked the crowd. He told them, stand by, she's going to be coming in, and we just heard that she will be in here shortly. I can tell you that the room is really excited for her. They have been here all day long, really excited for her to come in and excited to share this moment with her. They are also hopeful. Obviously, these numbers are very close, but they are hopeful that she will get this win here. Now, I spoke to her a little bit earlier, specifically when we talk about the relationship between her and David Trone. We have obviously seen that relationship get very intense. You know, we saw them both really attacking each other. I asked her because, you know, she and David Trone were friends at one point. So take a listen to our conversation from a little bit earlier this evening. I know at one point you and David Trone were friendly. To be in this stage right now, how does that feel? Is it disappointing?
You know, it's incredibly disappointing. I mean, yes, I've known David. I've known his brother for a long time. You know, my husband helped him when he was, you know, first became a member. And this just assault of lies, saying I'm not pro-choice, this assault of lies of, you know, my effectiveness in Congress and my votes. I found it very disappointing because I think it really misrepresented who I am and what I was trying to do. And I believe that you work 24/7 you lead with your heart, and you really lift up public service, and that's not how we should campaign against one another. So I am a little bit upset, but you know what? I just have to move on. I've been saying my gratitudes in the morning, and I'm very blessed by an amazing husband in John, and my 4 kids, and this community of people that have bubbled up around me. And I have all volunteers that have just bubbled up around. And so when you have that, you know, how can you not feel grateful?
So I do want to show you the crowd in here. If we can we show the room a little bit? I want to show just how many people are in here, and they are waiting for her to come in. People have been taking photos, you know, really capturing all that there is to this moment, hoping to hear from her shortly. You know, when she was talking about David Trone, she talked a lot about how she believes that this should not be negative the way we have seen it be. She talked also, though, about how important elections like this one are, specifically primary elections, because she talked about how these are the ones that have the most impact on things like your infrastructures, your schools. And when we talk about her big priorities, she told me she has 3 big priorities in all of this. She said that her big priority, number 1, is fighting against the attack, the assault by what she says is coming from the current administration, President Donald Trump. She said that attack on things like reproductive rights, things like the immigrant community and the LGBT community. She also talked about wanting to focus on affordability, specifically things like rising energy costs, housing, daycare, elderly care even. And she also said she wants to build up trust in our democracy and make sure there is not intimidation in the polls and things of that nature. So again, we heard from her husband, John Delaney, not too long ago, and he said April McClain Delaney will be making her way into the room in just a few moments. I did speak to him very briefly. I asked him if he wanted to speak with us on camera, and he said it's not my job anymore. He is really putting all of the focus on his wife. And I know he said he asked the room to keep a positive outlook here, to stay energetic and keep hyping her up, because these numbers are so close that they want to make sure the energy is high here. So I can tell you everyone in this room is watching closely. One other person I want to mention that I spoke with April McClain Delaney's hairdresser. And you know, Leslie, we know that hairdressers have all of the secrets. I have to say, I thought it was impressive that her hairdresser came out here to be a part of this moment with her. Unfortunately, she did not share any secrets with me. She said the most impressive thing, interesting thing she found about April McClain Delaney is that her father was a potato farmer in Idaho. She really felt at ease with that. She really loved that. She said she's a gardener herself, and she found that really interesting. So that was the closest I could get to a secret, Leslie and Lorenzo.
Well, you tried, Katie. You tried.
Yeah. That's what matters.
All right.
A for effort.
Yeah, we'll come back to you if something happens between now and then. All right.